Hi guys, how are you doing? Zaair, Hussain, good to see you. Aspirational outsourcing. Do external developers dream of electric success? This subheading is meaningless. I just thought it was interesting. All the best talks have a table of contents and homework. This talk will also have both. Play is universal. These are the slightly paraphrased words of a 2013 study called Play and Cultural Context. It affirmed that play is a universal trait of human psychology across cultures, but this shouldn't really surprise anyone. It's pretty obvious if you look around. The aesthetics of play and the form that the play takes may vary across culture, but the fundamentals of play are and always have been kind of buried deeper within us somewhere. Right? All of these pursuits, these instincts, human beings have pursued them across the world for hundreds, thousands of years. And video games have made it come even closer together. Same ideas, same instincts, same pursuits of play. Video games have made the experience of play more universal than it's ever been before. $2.5 billion. It's a mind-boggling number, but it's also an important number because it means that playing video games is about as close to a universal human experience as you can get. Does everyone recognize these movies? No matter where I am in the world, most people would, right? These are the things that the world grew up watching. These are shared cross-cultural touchstones. And if you look at the next slide, I don't know if everyone's as old as me, and a lot of cases this is quite pixelated, but stomping on Koopas, learning juggle combos, killing cyber demons, those are some of the things I grew up doing. Those are some of the things I think everyone grew up doing. Right? Like these are, I would argue, even more than movies. Games are a shared cross-cultural experience. They cut across language barriers, and in some cases we spend hundreds of hours actively engaging in them. To take something a little more recent, the last generation of gamers created a literal galaxy, I know I used literal wrong, but a galaxy of worlds in Minecraft, right? And I can't tell what country server any of these slides comes from. So not only are the fundamentals of play universal, the specifics of what we play have been getting closer together than at any other time in human history, thanks to this industry. That's playing games, though. How about making games? Well, our topic is outsourcing. So this is one of my favorite figures. 86% of major game development companies polled use outsourcing in some form, so it starts off strong. And then there's a twist that reads in 2008. Outsourcers, or external developers if you really prefer, like I don't really have a preference, have become an intrinsic part of the story of the games industry. We're proud to be part of its recent past, and we're excited to be part of its future. Video games aren't the only thing that all cultures, or play rather, is not the only thing all cultures share. Aspiration also is universal. When it comes to defining it, it's a lot easier to find quotes that you think, oh, that's aspirational, right? Like some of my favorites. Dan Edelman. Jane McGonigal. That's a beautiful one, actually. I love that. But the most aspirational quote of all time, my man Thomas, the tank engine. When it comes to defining aspiration, though, it gets a little muddled because sometimes it gets muddied up with hope. Aspiration is not hope, and it's certainly not wishing. Aspiration, in a nutshell, is an ability to envision and work towards long-term goals. And it's not easy, but it's very straightforward. It's very simple. And the reason the long-term is important is because if you just look at this slide for a minute, I think people have been a bit insecure about this because it's a young industry, but if you look at that, this industry isn't going anywhere. So I think the question to ask yourself is, how long are you planning on being here? I think this is one of the most important questions you can ask yourself, and it's one of the most important questions you can ask of anyone that you're planning to work with. Because that strategy, not that hope, that strategy of we're going to be here for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years, 20 years, depending on what that strategy is, what they do day to day now, what you do day to day now will be different. That's supposed to be a weight, by the way, with investment. Kind of messed up there. This is the difference between aspiration and wishful thinking, is investment. Investment of time, investment of resources, investment of risk, opportunity cost, all of those things. What are you willing to pay now to buoy up the aspirations you have? Because that's as far as your aspirations can go, is how heavy your investment is. Because investment is a very personal thing, I can only really talk about our own, right? Sorry, because aspirations are a very personal thing, I can only really talk about our own. Investments are less personal. They're kind of the same for everyone. That's what we have, right? That's Frag's plan for the next 2 years. That's it. Very specific, very achievable based on what we're putting into it. You'll notice these are not dreams, and these are not hopes. We have dreams beyond that. We have hopes beyond that. But very specifically, these are our aspirations over the next 2 years. And our investments, they pretty much all, like if you look at them, I think the chair is obscuring a couple, but they all come down to the same thing. It's spending time, money, risk, opportunity right now to be able to better our chance of getting to that next level in the future. To bring it back, this is a Titanite slab from Dark Souls 1. It is required for all of the greatest upgrades. It has a 0.21% base drop chance. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning sometime in your life than getting this the first try. Don't look that up. All I mean is, when it comes to grinding for future rewards, gamers know what's up. I think it's important to separate these two concepts as well, because I've also heard them get muddled. Aspiration versus inspiration. Do you ever have those days where everything just clicks and there's like a beam of light coming down on you from above, and the issues you were stuck on are suddenly resolved? You come up with that perfect art style, or you come up with that perfect new game system. Those are days of inspiration, and we should be thankful. Not everyone gets to have them. The fact that we're in this industry, we can have those days, that's amazing. But the universal but unpopular truth of all creative industries is that nobody is inspired all the time. But you can be aspirational all the time. That is a symbol for Tao, or Dao. I'm not actually sure how it's pronounced. But it means the way. And it's about, the idea is a pursuit of mastery, right? Just being better tomorrow than you were today. This is one of my favorite quotes by Tom Bissell. Because every day, even in this industry, every day can't be fun, but every day can be fulfilling if you do it right. Because even on the most mundane of days, you're building something. Your skill set, your team capacity, your network, you're moving in a direction that is fulfilling. The hard way and the easy way. This is a question or philosophy or whatever that you can come across anywhere in life, and you will many, many times. But it's also certainly always implied to the video games industry. Here are some games that did it the hard way. You'll notice they're all stone cold classics. They all went out there, they captured people's imaginations, they provided amazing experiences, and they're still remembered to this day, as are these games, which maybe tried to do it the easy way. Two of them got known for, are fairly well known for exploitative microtransactions, and the third literally crashed the entire industry. In all these cases, they exploited beloved IPs and for whatever reason, lost the public trust for short-term gain. Same way, there have always been two ways to find or provide external development. A lot of companies will look for exactly the traits on the left-hand side. You know, who is the cheapest, who's the most available, who will never say no to anything, right? And because the market is the wonder that it is, many studios try to be exactly that. And on the other hand, You have the hard way, which takes time, it takes communication, it takes mutual respect. I think more than anything, it takes a commitment to building a relationship along with a product. And if it's not already obvious, like, we prefer the hard way. And we've tried both. Luckily, we've got some great examples out there. You know, I don't know any of these studios personally, but I know they all did it the hard way. And it shows. It shows in their results. I'd like to end this section with a quote from a fictional character by my favorite author. This seriously is great. This is the best thing you're going to get from this talk because I didn't write it. The hard way is pretty hard, but not so hard as the easy way. Now, let's talk about finding partners. The awesome partner checklist, I would like to give this disclaimer right now that this is based on my experience, so if you use it and still get burned, I can't be held responsible. But in my experience, it has held true for every relationship, personal or professional, that I've encountered. First comes growth, especially working on yourself, right? Like, if most people want a better partner in whatever part of their life, they don't necessarily want to work on themselves to be that better partner. So that comes first. And once you've done that, you can start to value yourself. Once you've done that, you can start to not sell yourself short. Saying no to something that's maybe not right for you or not a good fit for you is one of the most liberating, empowering experiences an individual or a company can have. After growth comes courage. Now, sometimes fear is valid, right? Sometimes fear is based on past trauma. It's based on horror stories. But if you go into every situation kind of cringing, right, thinking like, how am I going to get hurt this time? Or this is going to be terrible, you are letting fear control you. Talk to some people. Be open to people talking to you. See if something clicks. Then comes discovery. Now you have to start paying attention to the people you're talking to. Number one thing, yes, you watch out for red flags, right? You see any deceit or signs of deceit or disrespect, you've got to bail, and don't worry about it. There'll be other people, there'll be other partners. If you don't see that, then you can start thinking about, how are your conversations? Is there a spark? Like, do you get along well? Can you connect on a human level? Most importantly, is there mutual respect? And people forget about the mutual part, but if you don't respect them, it's not going to work either. And underpinning all of this is truth. I don't know if that's being blocked or not, but to thine own self be true. Find someone looking for the same things you are. If you are honest with yourself about what you want and what kind of partner you want, things will go a lot better. Remember I said there'd be homework? Sorry, could I pass this out? Good. Oh, that'd be brilliant. I told you there'd be homework. You don't have to give this back. You never have to. No one else ever has to see it. You should write this down on the back of the card. I promise you, it'll help you with clarity. It helped me. This slide was not indeed always blank. Here we were going to put up a couple of our favorite partners to honor them, but after a lot of internal discussions, it was decided, or at least it was told to me, that maybe that would be a bit unfair on everyone else. Now, I'm still going to talk about them even if I don't name them. We mostly like everyone we work with. But our favorite partners, I wouldn't trade for accounts 3 times their size, because they have always trusted us. They've kind of stood by us. We've grown together, I think, like, as cliched as that might sound. And in return, we have always gone that extra mile for them, and we always will. And that'd be true for, I think, any studio out there. In conclusion, game development is a beautiful, insane, lengthy, sometimes painful, sometimes magical process. And it is a big industry out there. Is it dangerous to go alone? I don't know, Link. But I do know that aspirational partners, both internal and external, make the journey more fulfilling. Or at least they always have for me. Thank you.